Hey guys, it's me again. No review this time. Instead, today it's Q&A, all about me. So I asked you guys about a week ago what you would like to know about me and that I would do a follow-up Q&A video. So I have a bunch of your questions and I'm going to go ahead and read them off and answer them for you. So let's get started. So the first question I have here is from Joab7598 on Instagram. And he asked, how did I get into the reviewing part of vaping? And Alistar Vapes also asked, what made me decide to get into reviewing? So after vaping for a while, I started watching a lot of YouTube videos and reviews and found that I really liked the platform on YouTube compared to maybe ECF or subreddits. I just found that it was more personal and you felt like you knew the person telling you about the product. So I really like that. And of course, over time, I got to know a lot of people in the community. I joined the vape community, Vaporium.net, and that's where I ended up really starting to connect with some of the reviewers. And I got to know Mike Vapes, and I got to know Vape and Fagan, and I got to know Brian from the Vapor Chronicles, and Felix Vape, and Ronnie Cash. A lot of the reviewers hang out there, and after talking to them, I kind of felt like, why don't I start reviewing? I am a hobbyist. I am an enthusiast. I collect vape gear, I guess you could say, because I'm always buying new products. I'm always looking for new products and looking for innovation. So to me, it was kind of just a natural progression into now I want to tell other people about the things, what I think about our industry, as well as being able to have a platform to talk about advocacy, to talk about my experience in vaping, and not just product reviews, but I also want to kind of expand out into talking about vaping in general, talking about the vape community. Those are things that I really want to be able to talk to other people about, and YouTube seems to be the best platform to do that in. So I hope that answered that question. Toonie219 on Instagram asks, and hello, Addie Toonie, favorite vape convention? Detroit, hands down. Detroit last year was my very first vape convention. It was a small vape convention, which was really good because it was my first one and I have social anxiety. So going out, going to places I don't know, meeting people I don't know, at that point I had been hanging out with a lot of the people that were at the convention in Zoom rooms and Google Hangouts and things like that, but I hadn't met anybody face to face. So that was a great experience, getting to meet everybody face to face. I got to see Addie Tooney there, all of the, the vape team guys, everybody was there that I found to be really inspirational to me. So it was a really great time there. Tooney also asks, have you ever seen Fagan Hams? Who hasn't? If you'll watch Mark's YouTube, you'll see his hams. Watch the vape team sometimes. You'll see his hams. And what was the Opa appetizer? Okay, so in Detroit, when we went out to eat one night with the vape fam, we went to a Greek restaurant, and I'm not too familiar with Greek cuisine, and we got there, we're seated, and we're like 25, 30 people, and we're taking up this big long table in the restaurant, and apparently there is this cheese appetizer that they light on fire, and they yell Opa, and it was tense. Let's say that. It was tense. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next question here. Phil Vapes 21 asks, what are your favorite tanks to use and your all-time favorite mod to use? Favorite tanks to use. Okay, so I'm not much of a sub-ohm tank user. I've found a couple sub-ohm tanks that I like. The Innokin Skyon sub-ohm tank recently I've been enjoying. I've run out of coil heads for it, so it's kind of went back because I'm mainly an RTA and RDA kind of person. My favorite RTA, I have a few of them. One of my first fall in love with RTAs was the Serpent Mini, both the 22 and the 25. From there, all of the RTAs that Woodafo has came out with, I've enjoyed. I enjoy their single coil, which is the Serpent line, the SMM. Suck My Mod did a great job with Woodafo producing that RTA. I really like that one. It's actually sitting over here off screen on my build stand. And also the Troll RTA. I liked all of those. So definitely the Woodafo line of RTAs is my top favorites as far as tanks. And as far as my all-time favorite mod to use, well, it's kind of a toss-up between these two because these are the two you always see me with. I've tried a fair amount of mods. Mind you, I've just started reviewing. I'm just a hobbyist and a collector before this, so and I'm not rich. So I have a few mods, but I would have to say my all-time favorite that I like to use is my Yeehee SX Mini G class. I like it because of the form factor. It is small, considering it is a 2-battery mod. The Yeehee chip is a great chip. I love tongue-tied. Temperature control on this mod, as well as just it's very accurate. It reads my coils accurately. I never have any trouble with it reading atomizers. It seems to, I've had no problems with it so far. So that's why it's my favorite mod, because I've had no problems with it so far. Okay, and let's see who else has questions. Rachel Lee Harrington asks on Instagram, what batteries do you use in your mech mods and what's your favorite build? I use the VTC 5As, which is pretty much my daily driver battery. I use that both in my mech mod and my regulated mod. I have about 20 of them that I rotate. And HB6, which are the LG HB6. I use those when I'm doing a really low ohm build. My build preferences are usually between 0.10 and, depending on if it's regulated, if it's a single coil or a dual coil, anywhere from 0.10 to a 0.3 coil. So if I'm vaping on a single battery mech, 0.1, 0.15 is really where I like to be. I don't like to go any lower than 0.10. It's just not as safe to me for the batteries that we currently have, though you can run it on some of the higher amp, lower mAh batteries. It's a really hot vape for me, so I stay at 0.1, 0.15. On a series build, obviously you can't go that low. I like to be in the, 0.25, 0.3 range on a series build. And my pretty much unregulated, I run anywhere from a 0.15 to a 0.2 is just depends on what my builds come out, but that's pretty much where I hover at. Because I do use stainless steel, I found that that's kind of my metal of choice. I use a lot of stainless steel builds in temp control on regulated mods. Okay, and let's see, we'll go over to Facebook. Stan Riker asked me, who are some of my biggest influences on YouTube? So I don't know if he was talking about vaping or just in general, because obviously YouTube's been around a long time. I really find not just influences in the vaping community, but there are a lot of really awesome creators on YouTube. I am a YouTube addict. I will watch YouTube 3-4 hours a day. It turns into an all-day thing for me if I'm not careful. So, one of the creators that I really like is Philip DeFranco. I watch him every day. I love his content. I also like Jenna Marbles. She's hilarious. I love watching her content. And then, of course, there's so many. It's hard to name them all, but there's a lot of different types. I'm kind of a science geek. I'm nerdy, so I do watch a lot of science-based YouTube videos, a lot of nerdy tech geek videos. And he also asked what YouTube reviewer would I like to meet one day. I've been blessed that I've been able to meet Mike and Mark and Brian and Felix and Grim Green. I I would really like to meet Matt and V from Suck My Mod. I think they're two really cool people. I enjoy watching their reviews, and I love watching their other channel, Matt and V, where they just, they document their little daily shenanigans. They do funny little skits, and I've really been enjoying that channel. So I'd really like to meet them and hang out with them because I think they'd be really cool people to chill with. All right, and Kevin M. Ryan asks, what was my first vape? How long ago did I start? Why did I start? What's your current favorite e-liquid and your current vape setup? Okay, so that's a lot. All right, Kevin. So my first vape was actually a blue e-cigarette. I went to a gas station. I was renting a car to drive out of town. And you know how cars are, rental cars are, you can't smoke in them. So I needed something that was going to get me the 11-hour drive without, pulling my hair out and having to constantly pull over to smoke a cigarette. So I was at the gas station. I happened to see the blue e-cigarettes. They were the single, like, one cigarette equals one pack of cigarettes or whatever. And so I picked up a couple cigalikes, and that's what I used on my way to where I was going and the way back. And I was like, wow, this is doing pretty well for me. It's, curbing those nicotine cravings. I'm getting that nicotine that I need. And, I'm not having those side effects of withdrawal from nicotine. So coming back home and everything, of course, I didn't stick with those. I just went back and picked up a pack of cigarettes and started smoking again. And I've been a smoker. I was a smoker for 15 years. I started young. My parents both smoked. Most of my family members smoked. It was just a really easy habit to pick up when I was a young teenager. And I never really wanted to quit smoking, though I tried many times. I had two children, so both times I quit smoking when I found out I was pregnant, which is funny how knowing that there's another little human being that you're responsible for can make you make a decision like that. But when you're left to your own, it's just you don't care. So I was able to quit both times. I was quit for about a year and a half. And the thing was, as soon as I went back to work, and I was around peers and coworkers that were smoking and would go out for smoke breaks, I was like, God, I miss those smoke breaks. I miss that cigarette after a stressful day at work. And I started smoking again. So after my last daughter, and I'm not having any more kids, I'm back to, I was just back to smoking like it was no big deal. But I started to notice a lot of health problems. And I lost my grandmother to lung cancer, who she had quit smoking 15 years before she was actually diagnosed with lung cancer. You would think that would make me quit, but it didn't. I continued to smoke, and it was actually after trying the blue Cigalike that I said there might be an alternative out there that I can still get my nicotine. I won't have to go through the withdrawals, because I had tried patches, I had tried gums, I had tried cold turkey. I even tried hypnotherapy. None of them were long-term for me. The patches and the gum was probably the worst because I wasn't getting that hand to mouth that I needed. I couldn't go out and take breaks. I could go slap a patch on and be like, oh, I'm going out for my patch break. So there were other habits involved with smoking that the nicotine gum and the patches couldn't work. And cold turkey, I find nicotine as a stress reliever. So I started buying the refill cartridges for the blue e-cigalikes. And what I found, though, is frustration, because those little bitty batteries that you have to screw in, so while it's charging, you have nothing to vape on. I was getting really frustrated, and it was really hard for me to stay just using those and not being a dual user. So I went to a vape shop. I got an iStick 20 watt and a Nautilus mini tank, and that was the last time I ever had that was the last day that I had ever had a cigarette. And that was clear back in 2014. So I am 3 years, see, it would have been August. Yeah, so 3 years, 2 months about, I've been vaping. And to answer the next part of the question was, what's my current fave e-liquid? Hit that cookie. Macadamia is my first and favorite. My second runner-up is pistachio, which is why I'm vaping right now, because I have cleared out another 60 ml bottle of macadamia. So all I've got left is my pistachio till I re-up on it. And current fave setup. Ooh, that's tough. I'm really torn between my Dominican V2 with the drop RDA or my G-Class with the drop RDA. Either way, the drop RDA has not left my mods. I've been so enjoying those. If you haven't already, go check out my review for the drop RDA. I go in deep detail about it, as well as show you how to put a build in, and I just gush about it because I do love this RDA so much. So I would say probably because of the hand size, I don't know, maybe my Mannequin V2 with the drop RDA on it is my fave setup right now. And let's see what else we have here. What do I do for a career, and what about my home life? Currently, you can call me unemployed. I was a dental hygienist for 1 year. Before that, I was going to school to be a dental hygienist for 4 years. I have my BA in science. I've been thinking about going back for my master's. I really enjoy learning and knowledge in science, and I want to go back into the medical field, but I feel like dental hygiene just was not the area meant for me, if that makes any sense. You know, we're all looking for our dream job. We need to get paid, and we want to do what we love. So I do love being in the medical field. I love science. I love research. So right now I'm thinking about going back to school to further my education so that I can go back into the medical science and research area. And home life, well, I have 2 children. I'm not really comfortable talking much about my home life, but I do have a boyfriend. Sorry guys, not single. I have a boyfriend whom I live with, and I have 2 children. And it looks like Timothy Sullivan here got it really close. He said he could picture me in a doctor's office of some sort or a vet working with animals. Funny story. I wanted to be a vet when I was a little girl. I wanted to grow up and be a vet. And I think if it wasn't such a long process of schooling and I would have to go back and do so much more, I might actually do that because I really do love animals. I have 2 dogs, a cat, and a guinea pig. And I used to have a lot more other animals. Okay, so one of the things he wanted to know was, he noticed I vape the G-Class a lot. Is that your hands down favorite mod? Yes, it is, obviously. And let's see, who else has a questions? Jesse Hendricks asks, how long until I pass Mark in subscribers and beat him to 100K? I wish. But no, Mark as Vaping Fagan is a spectacular guy. If you're watching me and you're not subbed to Mark Fagan, go over to Vaping Fagan on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. He is hilarious. The guy makes me laugh all the time. He is truly genuine. He's smart. I mean, he acts like a total goofball, but don't let him fool you. He is smart. He might act like a goofball, but he's smart. Let's see, what's my favorite RDA and juice I can't go without? Well, it's the drop RDA. And right now, I'm really digging the Hit That Cookie. But I also DIY. So, to be completely truthfully honest, the juice I can't go without is my banana nut bread that I make from scratch. DIY. All right, let's see. What other questions do we got here? What is the next life or career move for you? So I kind of answered that already. I'm focusing a lot on being home with my children, really enjoying spending a lot of time with them, playing around, I guess you could say, on YouTube, discovering, because I really do love the vape industry. I love the community. I would love to be able to work in the vape industry just because I am so passionate about it. I'm really passionate about harm reduction and the benefits that vaping can bring to smokers, like my former self, like many others. I want to save people. And that would be probably one of the dream jobs for me, is to be working in the vape industry in a way that was impacting and helping and changing lives. But most likely, I'm going to go back to school to go back into the medical field. Oh, J Moochow on Facebook asked me a really difficult question. If you could pick a vaping related product to develop, what would it or they be? I've had a couple ideas for some tanks, but what I would really like to develop, which I have no experience in and it will never happen, is a mod. I would really like to develop like a whole kit, a device with a tank. I would love to be able to do that. And looks like that's all the questions you guys had for me. If I missed anything, please feel free to leave another question down in the comments below, and I will be sure to answer it for you. Guys, thank you again for watching. Thank you for giving me the inspiration to make these videos, and keep watching, please. If you like this Q&A, hit the like button. If you aren't already, hit the subscribe button. If you are subscribed, hit that bell icon so you'll see when my next video comes up. And as always, have a great day. See you guys later.